Hey there. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. The series reports on events and 5 points in history associated with the date going back 100 years, 50 years, 25 years, 10 years, and 1 year ago. November 5th, 1924, Anson Mills dies at the age of 90. Mills was originally from Indiana, born on his father's farm, helping around the farm, eventually learning carpentry trade. He went on to attend West Point Military Academy, though he would only attend for about 2 years, resigning due to deficiency in mathematics. From there, Mills headed for McKinney, Texas, and settled there for about a year, making a living as a teacher before heading to El Paso. In El Paso, Mills became a surveyor. His part in forming El Paso's future was not just surveying the town, but also having some involvement in its development. He also had a hand in changing the town's name from Franklin to El Paso. After Civil War broke out, Mills applied for a commission with the Union Army, which was granted, and he was appointed as first lieutenant of the 18th Infantry. His autobiography provides an account of some of the movements and battles he and his men participated in during the war. He continued to serve in the army after the end of the Civil War and would participate in battles while commanding a company of cavalry during the Bighorn expedition. He would eventually retire at the rank of brigadier general. Mills also served on the Boundary Commission, settling land disputes with Mexico. This is a very brief summary of only some of Mills' adventures and accomplishments over the course of his life. His biography provides much greater detail of his career and exploits for those interested. November 5th, 1974. The midterms of 2014 were covered in a previous video, which went well for Republicans. The midterms of 1974 were held on November 5th and went the other way. Democrats already had the Senate majority with 57 seats, winning 4 more that night, increasing to 61 seats. Democrats already held the House by a decent margin going into the election with 242 seats, gaining 48 seats that night. Analysts speculated that multiple factors hurt the Republicans. The Watergate scandal is credited as being especially damaging to their favorability, as well as some tough economic issues that were caused by previous spending and policy that was starting to catch up. Though Nixon didn't necessarily initiate some of the programs or policies that led to these issues, his continued expansion of previous programs and some poor choices did not mitigate the situation. November 5th, 1999. Federal Judge Thomas Penfield Jackson decides that Microsoft has monopoly power. The Microsoft antitrust case kicked off in 1998, with much of the focus on Microsoft's Internet Explorer web browser. Claiming that Microsoft bundling the browser with the Windows operating system was an attempt to prevent other browsers from competing with Microsoft, most specifically the Netscape web browser, which was extremely popular, holding a significant portion of web browser market share. Prior to the antitrust suit, Netscape claims Microsoft contacted them proposing that they split the browser market with them. For Netscape, Microsoft advised that the refusal would essentially result in Microsoft crushing Netscape and running them out of business. During the case, many internal Microsoft emails were submitted as evidence. Many of the messages conveyed that Microsoft would need to go beyond trying to stand on the quality of their browser to overtake Netscape, proposing various licensing tactics and bundling Internet Explorer with Windows in order to secure the majority of the browser market share. Microsoft would end up losing the case, but Jackson's original ruling would be modified in a federal appeals court. Microsoft was spared from being broken up, but other aspects of the ruling finding Microsoft in violation of antitrust laws were upheld. Microsoft would settle, agreeing to some concessions to satisfy the DOJ, though there were some states and the District of Columbia that were not satisfied with the results. A DC Circuit Court would approve the settlement. November 5th, 2014. David Kalac surrenders to Washington State Police for the murder of Amber Lynn Copeland. Kalac anonymously posted photos of his girlfriend's body on 4chan. There's also a disturbing message posted with the photos. Turns out it's way harder to strangle someone to death than it looks on the movies. After the initial post, he replied to messages posted by others with, "Check the news for Port Orchard, Washington in a few hours. Her son will be home from school. He'll find her, then call the cops. I just wanted to share the pics before they find me." As Kalac predicted, Copland's son did discover his mother's body, after which he called his father, Copland's former husband, He came to the home and called 911. In May of 2017, Kalac was sentenced to 82 years in prison. Posting the photos on the internet along with the messages would turn into more than just an admission of guilt. Prosecutors argued that even with the original post removed, the photos would be forever available elsewhere online. It was also reported that one of her children saw the photos. These factors allowed aggravators to be applied during Kalac's sentencing, extending it beyond the guidelines of the charge he was found guilty of. November 5th, 2023. The southern Taurid's meteor shower was expected to peak on this day. For those not familiar, the southern Taurids is one of two meteor showers, the other the northern Taurids. The most visible periods of the showers occur in the later parts of October into early November, though it is said that the showers start as early as September, staying active into December. Depending on the brightness of the moon, it may be difficult to clearly see the showers, as well as cloud cover that may obscure the visibility. The northern Taurids tend to peak around a week later than the southern. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed this content and haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. And I also really appreciate if you could leave a like. Thanks for watching.